Hello and welcome to the show. It's available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or any podcast player of your choice, so subscribe for free once you're done listening to this episode. And remember to give me a 5-star review because so far no one has given me a 4-star review yet. Today on the show, we're going to be looking at whether you can turn your passion into profits. And we are taking our direction from an older podcast episode that I did last week, which looked at Alexia's journey from law school to a successful retail brand. I think the episode was titled something like Building a Retail Brand with Alexia, something like that. But not to worry, if you didn't listen to the episode, I'm going to have it fixed to the show notes at the end of this episode. So, while we were looking at ideas around how Alexia built a successful retail brand, we ran into a number of themes during that podcast episode. If this is your first time of listening to the show, we have over 715 episodes so far, and I've only done one interview, but I'm committed to bringing other perspectives about sales, marketing, and business development onto the show, especially since I believe that good sales and business development principles apply in all manner of businesses. It's just that some people, like me, are much more conscious about how these things are applied. Other people seem to be applying them intuitively, or maybe they've been taught by someone else, but they don't realize that what they're doing is, in fact, good sales practice or business development practice. So, I had a chat with Alexia and then made the podcast episode to explore some of the themes around her experience in growing the business. And of course, I tried to stress and flesh out the commonalities between what we espouse over here on the podcast, that's personal sales and selling, and her actual experience on the ground trying to build a business. So there are going to be much more episodes like that where I have a chat with other business owners, people who've been in business, a decade or more. Okay, maybe even less. It's just that the people that I have penned to have a chat with, most of them are over a decade in business so far. So there are going to be more episodes like this, just in case you enjoy the format. So some of the themes around that we explored about how to get into business, we're going to emphasize some of those themes over here in this podcast episode. So in the older podcast material, that's the one that I did from last week, where even before the Alexia episode, I have some much more older podcast material on how to start a business in 3 easy steps. Now, the 3 easy steps that I summarized in the podcast episode and also in my Telegram group, back when I had a Telegram group around that idea, was this. Now, the 3 easy steps that you ought to take when it comes to starting up a business is to focus on, number 1, choosing the idea. Number 2, making sure that people are going to pay for the idea, because there's no point in pursuing an idea that has no demand and people are not going to pay for. And then number 3, building repeatable sales systems around the idea. Now, the reason why I take this approach is because if you want to come up with all the things that you need to run a successful business, there are a plethora, there are plenty, and it's going to be an absolute minefield, let me put it that way. So, because of course we're going to have to worry about branding, incorporation, legal forms, human resources, what else? Accounting, all kinds of things. Now, in my own opinion, the reason why we should focus on these 3 easy steps first is because if you're going to go over branding, human resources, hiring, accounting, all these other things, but then at the end of the day, your business idea is something that doesn't have market demand and people are not willing to pay for it, then you would have wasted your time. So I think it makes more sense to first of all choose the idea, make sure that the idea is a viable one, then build repeatable sales system around it. And only then can we invest in the expense and in the time of setting up all the other systems that are required to support a business. So there was one theme that's from this 3-pronged approach: choose the idea, make sure people are going to pay for the idea, and then build a repeatable sales system around the idea. Now, there's one theme that was repeated in Alexia's experience. So, was makeup her passion? The reason why it's important to look into this question is because When it comes to choosing an idea, this is one trope that most modern business influencer types put up. They say explore your passion. And in the older podcast episode, yes, it was something that I looked into, that I examined. I mean, should you indeed explore your passion? Or so those are some of the ideas that I followed. I looked into factors that you ought to consider when you're trying to make a business out of your passion, or whether you should follow your effort. That is just taking a much more practical sense of what it is that you're already good at, what people already pay you to do, things like that. Anyway, if you're interested in that whole argument of whether you should build a business out of your passion, then once you're done listening to this episode, just search within the app, use the term passion, let's see what else, passion, start your business in 3 easy steps, terms like that, and you'll find that podcast episode. So, was makeup Alexia's passion? For those of you who listened to the original episode, you know that the answer is no, because she was more interested in the business and the customer focus side of the business when she took her when she got her internship with Tara Fela Durotoye. So for those of you who listened to the episode, you remember that she was in university. She kind of got the sense that law was not for her. She didn't know what to do next, and she came up with the smart idea that she was going to take internships during the holidays, and was able to get an internship with Tara Fela Durotoye, who also owns a beauty, a much more older and much more established beauty brand in Nigeria. So Alexia only got involved in the artistic side when they were short-staffed, and Tara, her boss, told her to go to the floor, learn the artistic side from the ladies, so that she could help her whenever they were short-staffed. So she didn't get into this because of some grand passion thing like, oh, passion is my makeup is my passion, beauty is my passion, fashion is my passion. So of course, yes, Alexia is well put together, but it wasn't a passion thing that led her into the business. It was much more practical concerns. She wanted to do something business related. She was getting that experience, but her boss said, learn this other thing so that you can be useful to the business as well. And that is how she got involved in the art of makeup, even though in the beginning what she was looking for was more of the business and the more of the business, if we can put it that way. So the reason why she continued on as a makeup artist even after she finished her internship was because orders kept coming in while she was in law school. Now, that is a very good segue into the second part, where I talk about making sure that people will pay for your idea. That is what I encapsulate in the idea, in the concept called market validation. Market validation are cues from the market, cues of demand and supply, just external signals that let you know that, hey, this thing that I have here, this talent, this passion, this app, this website, this business idea, this old clothes, these, whatever it is, it's a clear sign from the market that people are willing to pay for these things, and it's a good indicator to show that you are on the right path. So the reason why she continued as a makeup artist was not because of some grand passion, but simply because orders kept coming in. So it looked like this was a good thing to do. That is market validation. And for those of you who've listened to the episode, you'll see that it's something that has been key to her career and her business path so far. So remember, market validation, customer demand, customer feedback, market traction, people call it different things. These are good cues to let you know which business idea might be a valuable one. Another thing that we ought to take into cognizance here is you don't have to know the answer to everything to begin. Because I run into lots of people who want very clear certainties about this is what I'm supposed to do next. It's not a problem that you are in law school and you get the sense that law might not be for you. You think it might be business, but you don't know which kind of business, and you found an internship and you're exploring some ideas, and it's not a problem. There's nothing wrong with you. Everything does not have to be certain. She didn't say, you know what, law school is not my thing. Fashion is my passion. I'm going to be in the fashion industry. That's not how it worked. It was plodding, circuitous. You know how these things can be. I'm not sure what I want to do next. I talk to this person. I talk to that person. I'm looking for internships. I talk to multiple people. This is the one that clicks, and then it sets you down a certain trajectory, and that is fine. Too many folks are running around crippled because they don't know the answer to everything. You do not need to know the answer to everything to begin. Just take the next clear steps that you can see. In this case, even if it's just an internship, whether paid or unpaid, and then you start taking whatever opportunities that open up themselves. So, like in her own case, helping out on the shop floor. So she comes in, and the goal is to get experience not on the shop floor, because remember, she thinks she's going to be involved in business, and so she's trying to learn things from a high level. But eventually, she ends up on the shop floor learning the art of makeup. So it's okay not to know absolutely everything, and we should be looking for market validation or customer demand, because this is a very good clarifying signal to say where we should be spending our time next. So, those are the key takeaways that I would like to stress, because I didn't stress it in the last episode. So, excuse me, because I didn't stress it in the last episode. So, that is something that I want to stress for the newbies who are wondering, what am I supposed to do? I'm in med school, I'm in year 4, I don't like blood, I don't like cutting into bodies, I don't think this medicine thing is for me. What the hell am I supposed to do? It's okay, it doesn't have to be crippling. You can listen to the Alexia episode, you can take inspiration from the Alexia episode, and you can also know that you don't need to know absolutely everything before you begin. But if it's going to be in the business sphere and you're going to try a couple of things, you decide that, okay, medicine is not for me, but maybe since I'm going to finish with a medical degree, maybe I can sell medical equipment. This is how you're going to figure out what to do next. You might have a passion for passion. You might decide that, okay, it makes sense to sell medical equipment, and maybe you're also a good actress or a good actor. So, looking for external validation, demand, and supply, things external to yourself, is a very good way to decide where and how you are going to go about things next. If you'd like to hear the original episode where we looked at Alexia and her business as a feature, then I'm going to put the link to it, just like I said at the beginning of the episode. I'm going to put the link to it to that particular episode in the show notes. I'm also going to put other details for Alexia. We'll have her website. Oh, okay, I didn't get a bio for Alexia. Okay, well, anyway, I'm going to get the links to the website and the Instagram are going to be there. So you can have a look, see try to get a sense of her business, see the kind of products and services that she offers. And then for those of you who are female listeners, if you're interested in buying a product or two, then of course all the details will be there about how you can buy some of her products. So the podcast episode, for those of you who want to search for it, was called The Business of Beauty, Building a Retail Brand with Alexia Horsfall. The Horsfall doesn't have an E, and it's written all as one word. So it's HORSFALL. That was the first business feature on the podcast, and she is a businesswoman based in Lagos. So that will all be in the show notes. So that's all for today, folks. If you love what you've been hearing on the podcast and you're trying to figure out which of your business ideas might be a viable one, then hit me up on 080 6466 2140 so we can help you figure that out. When I say hit me up, I mean you can call, SMS, WhatsApp, or Telegram. Also, connect with me on LinkedIn or your social media of choice. My name is Taveshima Ayede. You can confirm the spelling of the name and my email address on the website where you're listening to this episode, or the podcast app where you're currently listening to my voice. Thank you very much for your time and attention. I'll catch you guys at the next episode.